Hey guys, I'm Claire. Welcome back to Ballymelon Farm. Today I'm going to show you around our pantry. So this is our new setup that we've had it up for the last few months. It's located at the back of our garage, so it's all connected through our house and the porch and the garage and then the room behind. We've always kind of used this space as like a dumping ground for stuff that we didn't want in the house, which is almost the case now, because the reason we've set up the pantry is because we're thinking about renovating our kitchen, and we're going for like the rustic farmhouse look with open cabinets and things like that. So we didn't want like all the unsightly kind of stuff, you know, located in our kitchen. And we've actually found like the flow through, even though it's like, you know, it's a little bit of a walk to come out here to grab stuff, it's been working really well for us. In the past, all of our preserves have been kind of kept just wherever we could fit them in. So we had like some in our pantries in the kitchen, some in other cupboards in the kitchen, with the bulk of it being in our linen cupboard. It's actually really nice to have it in, you know, all in one spot, and I really like looking at it all. You know, I put so like after I've preserved something and I put it on the shelf, I kind of like stepping back and looking at it, and it kind of feels like a really cool accomplishment to see it all there in one space. So when we set up our pantry, we purchased 7 of these shelves from Super Cheap Auto. We have actually purchased ones from Bunnings before, and they are in our garden shed. I prefer these ones. They are just heaps more sturdy. So we have got 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 of the shelves that are for storing like our pantry food and our baking supplies, as well as like the preserving gear. Then with the other 3 shelves, what we did was this setup with these 2 shelves. And what we've done is we've taken the 3 shelves and we've made them into 2 shelves, which meant that we can have smaller spaces between each of the shelves. I think if I was doing it again, almost like we could have maybe bought one more and made the shelves closer together again. But it's working really well how it is at the moment anyway. So that's worked really well, that we can have the smaller spaces between each of the shelves, which fit the different size canning jars really well. So we really like that. So I was going to make just one video on the whole pantry, but I think it's going to take too long. So today I'm just going to be focusing on our preserved food. Then what I'll do is probably make another one about the things we buy from the supermarket and our baking kind of stuff and the packaged foods and stuff that we still buy. And then I will make one about our jars and preserving equipment. I'll see if I make the one about our pantry food, because it's not going to be that interesting. We might just tack it on to another one. So anyway, let's get started on the food that we have preserved this season, and some of it's left over from last season too, so let's get into that. Okay, so here's a bit of an overview of the pantry as we walk in. So on the right hand side is all the preserving equipment, on the left hand side is all our pantry sort of supermarket bought food, and then at the back here is all of our preserved food. So on the right hand side I have all the fruits, and the left hand side is vegetables. So we're almost out of space on our fruit shelf. So we are almost through all of the fruit that we've purchased this year. The only thing left to come is the Golden Queen peaches, and yeah, I'm going to be very pleased to have that all finished. So starting at the very top here, I have jams. So this is one that's left over from last year. This is a strawberry sauce. So strawberry sauce, really good on like ice cream or in yogurt. things like that. So that's what we use it for. The reason we still have it on the shelf is that before we had the pantry, it was kind of stashed away and we forgot that it was there. So we'll look forward to using that again. And I didn't make any strawberry sauce this year. So next in the line we have some blackcurrant jam. That is quite a thick jam. I used pectin in it, and it probably didn't need as much pectin in it as I think the fruit was probably high enough in pectin. Next along is raspberry jam, left over from last year. So raspberry jam is everyone's favourite. So the raspberry jam is probably the jam that we use the most. But again, this one got lost in our old system of storing jars. So yeah, so we'll get through these ones this year before we get through our ones that we preserved this year. Moving on, this is all, hold on, I'll see if I can get a bit higher, get a footstool. So there we can see how far back it goes. So it's about 5 jam jars back. These are all plum jams from last year. So last year we got quite a lot of cheap plums from a local orchard. Some of them were quite soft, so with all of the soft ones I've just made jam, and this is like enough plum jam to last us a lifetime. So I didn't make any plum jam this year, and yeah, so this whole section from here until the orange apricot jam there is all plum jam. So the next jam here is all apricot jam. That's all new jam that I've made this year. So yeah, I was really happy with how the apricot jam turned out. Next along here is our mock pineapple. So I'm up really high on the ladder. So the mock pineapple was crazy actually. I was so surprised with it that it's zucchini and you just cook it in pineapple juice. It's a water bath recipe. So the kids didn't know the difference. With the stuff we have on the shelf, I probably cooked it a little too much in the syrup, that it doesn't have the texture of pineapple. Initially, when I was cooking it in the syrup, I tried it and it kind of had like that, it was a bit firmer and did have more of the same texture as pineapple. So I think when I make it again, I'll just make sure that I don't cook it in the syrup too long, because then you water bath it and it cooks for longer, so you do kind of lose the texture a little bit. Yeah, so that's a mock pineapple, and I've just put it in the tiny little jars because I didn't know whether we would like it or not. Alright, down onto the next shelf. So the strawberry jam is all from strawberries that we have grown ourselves. So we have got a ton of that, which is really cool. That was definitely one that ran out along with the raspberry jam last time. So some more raspberry jam there. So we're already into that one. I'll have to remind everybody that there is these ones up here to use first. So everybody just comes out and grabs what they want, and we do kind of talk about using the older ones first, and I just try and point out to everybody that if there's one where the like where they've siphoned or the level of liquid is lower than the other ones, to use those ones up first, so then everybody knows, and you can kind of people can just kind of come out and grab what they need when they need it. So this is first time making peach jam this year, and this kind of didn't really work out. It tastes really good, like it tastes just like peaches, but the texture of it is really weird. It's quite thick, and like I don't know what went wrong with that. So we'll still use it, and we'll just have to try and be creative with what we use it for. And along next to that, this is just my marker, I think, so we've got orange peach jam, and then I've just done a white peach jam. It's not recommended that you use white peaches for preserving because they're low in acid, but I figured with the jam it's got a ton of sugar in it, which should help mitigate that. So so I've done white peach jam, and you'll see shortly also that I have white peaches, and I'll talk about that when we get there. So next along the shelf is some apples. These are from last year, and these ones here, you can probably see that they're quite dark. I've used brown sugar when I preserve those with the idea that they would be good for like apple pie and things like that. Then I've just got some apple puree, apple sauce, that is also from last year. Everybody tends to grab the summer fruits, so like the peaches and the plums before the apples or pears or things like that. So we do have a few of those that need to be used up. I just haven't preserved apples or pears this year because we didn't need them. So next to that I just have some pineapple syrup, pineapple juice. That is just what was left over from preserving the pineapples, and it seemed like a waste just to chuck it out, so it's pretty much just juice. Next shelf along we have got pears. So I think I'm the only one that likes these, so they're really, really good actually. So if you like pears, I would recommend doing it, but I seem to be the only one in our family that likes them. So we've still got, there's quite a few jars in there of pears from last year. Moving on, we have got nectarines. So this is the first time that I've done nectarines, and I think I did 10 kg, so there's not that many jars. I think we've eaten a few, and yeah, there's 5 left, so those are pretty good. Right, moving along, we have got apricots. So the apricots I preserved in honey and vanilla, so I just use vanilla beans and the local honey that we get. So we've got hives on our farm, but they're contracted. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, they give us honey a couple times a year, so I use that honey, and we don't really love them. So it's the first time doing apricots, and I don't know, I think they're going to be another one that we have to try and make sure that we use up. But yeah, I'm sure we'll find lots of different ways that we can use them and be creative. Okay, so here are the white peaches. So I just haven't got around to chucking these out yet. So I think I did 10 kgs of them. So I have eaten them. And I'm pretty sure I was the only one in the family that ate them. But yeah, you're not supposed to do white peaches. That was before I knew that you weren't supposed to do white peaches. So they are lower in acid, which means that they're just not safe. And I think I probably did them in a light syrup. We do all of our fruit in the ultra light syrup, apart from the apricots that I did in honey. So I just haven't got round to chucking those out, but the chickens will enjoy them, so that'll be good for them. Here is the rhubarb, and this is our favorite. So this is so yummy that we have probably already used half of what I preserved. But the good news with the rhubarb is that I cut about half of what we had earlier on when I preserved that, and it's already ready to harvest again. So that's not something like one and done, like we'll be able to harvest that all through the year, I reckon, and put more and more on the shelf. So that'll be good, since that's our favorite. So these are the first plums that I preserved this season. So these are all the Harwood variety, and we got these from an orchard local to us. These are all halves. So our youngest boy is 5, and he loves plums, but he I don't know if it's a fear of eating a plum stone but he doesn't like when I preserve them whole. So for him, since they're his favourite, I've done most of our plums halves, which is a real bugger because you know, you've got to cut them. It's more prep, so you've got to cut them all in half and remove the stones. But for him, I think it's worth it. And yeah, it's really nice that he can just come out and grab them for breakfast and doesn't have to worry about them having the stone. So he's just here and he told me that he does love all the plums because he's just a little fruit boy. So he likes to eat the ones with stones in too, but he does like the other ones better. So next along is our Black Doris plums. These are all preserved in a medium syrup with the idea of being more of like a dessert kind of treat than the other ones where we try and do them for like snacks or breakfasts or things like that. So this whole row here is all Black Doris. I think I got 30 kgs. So yeah, there's 24 of those. What we've found, and I think in this case, a lot of those we use for fresh eating. So what we've found is that roughly about a kg of fruit makes 1 quart-sized jar of preserved fruit. So it's quite good for us to know that like when we're purchasing fruit, how many jars we've been through and was it enough, and if we need to do more, kind of based on that 1 kg of fruit per jar. Right, on the next row down we've got peaches. So these are all, I'm pretty sure they are glowing star peaches, and with those I've done just sliced peaches as well as a peach pie filling. So this is a new one to us. I've never made that before. Since the kids love the mock pineapple so much, I've just done some regular pineapple. So one of my boys, when I made the mock pineapple, said it's the best thing that I've ever preserved because... No, it was not you. Oh, do you? So... I like that pineapple, but I don't like cooked pineapple. You don't like cooked pineapple? Yeah. Okay. So one of my boys, when I made the mock pineapple, said that was one of the best things that he had tasted that I've preserved. So that was hilarious because, you know, like we do plums and peaches and stuff like that, and they're just not his cup of tea. But yeah, the mock pineapple was right up his alley. So yeah, so just did that pineapple because he enjoyed that so much. And if you're able to, like, pineapples can be quite cheap in the supermarket sometimes, so I just try and keep my eye on that. And you know, if they come down to quite a reasonable price, I will get some more and put some more on the shelf as well. Alright, so moving on from there, this is all plum preserve, and it's just like stew plums pretty much. So what I've done is I just try and add as little sugar as possible to our preserves. But with this one, I didn't add enough. So we were doing it to taste at the time. This is my husband's favourite thing that I preserved last year. But so I was getting him to taste it and I was tasting it as we were preserving it. But plums are quite a funny one. And when they are preserved, they do tend to be a little bit more bitter. So it tasted fine from the pot, but yeah, when we preserved it, we had like 1 jar that didn't seal, so we went to eat that, and we just thought it didn't taste that great. So with these jars, what I'll probably have to do is when we open one, just stir in like a tablespoon of sugar or something like that. We'll just have to do that with those ones and kind of make a mental note for next time, just to we will just have to make sure that next time we account for them getting a little bit more bitter after they've been preserved. So down here on the bottom shelf, these are the plums that I've most recently these are the plums that I've most recently preserved yesterday, and they're the last of the plums for the season for us. So these are all Omega plums, and I've just done these all in an ultralight syrup and halved, and they'll be really good. So I think with all the plums that we've done, that is going to be plenty for us for the year, and hopefully not quite enough, so that we eat some of those other ones that we don't like as much. The last thing that I have to preserve is, I think I've got 55 kgs of peaches coming still, so that's 10 kgs of Black Boy peaches and 45 kgs of Golden Queen peaches. And those will be the last fruits to go on the shelf. So I am really, really looking forward to having them all finished, because I've really had enough of the fruits. It's a lot of prep work and stuff. Yeah, the peaches are not going to be fun because I'm going to have to peel them all and yeah, slice them. So it's going to be a lot of prep work. But once they're on the shelf, it'll be really good. And I really find that it's, you know, it's a really good achievement once it's all done. So last thing on the shelf here is just some syrups. So I tend to just keep can up the syrup, any of the leftover syrup that we have. So I've got peach, plum, I think I've got Black Boy peach syrup, and yeah, just a few different plum syrups. So the kids just like those, and they have them occasionally, and they call them like pluminade and, you know, peachinade. I don't know, like lemonade. You know, the idea of that they're kind of like a lemonade that they can mix with a bit of water and have a bit of a sweet drink occasionally. So I just keep those. And those syrups are all from last year. With the leftover syrups this year, I've just actually put them in the fridge because I haven't had that much left over, and they've just you know, there's still some in there, but they kind of have a drink of that occasionally. And it's good too because they're all like ultra light syrups, so they don't have that much sugar in it, but pretty much it is just sugar and water, and it's had the fruit seeped in it. Alright, moving on to our vegetable shelf. So most of the stuff on this shelf is pressure canned. So these are all beans. So, you know, they go quite far back. I've got 24 jars of those. They have not been our favourite, but yeah, they're okay. So last year I preserved, like I did, all the pressure canned beans, and I put a ton of beans in our upright freezer. So I try and put all our vegetables in the upright freezer. I think we had some kids over, and anyway, there are ice blocks in there, or I think it was fish bait actually, maybe. Anyway, one of the kids went in to get something and it was just left a jar. So we lost all our frozen beans. So we have our pressure canned beans, but like the texture of them is just like they're really soft. So they're okay, but I didn't grow any beans this year because I really wanted us to use them up. And as you can see, we've used tons of them. No, we have not used any of them. So yeah, one of my goals this year is to make sure we try and preserve food the way we want to eat it. So I don't know if I'll do as many pressure canned beans again, but they are quite cool for like if you're making like a spaghetti bolognese or a stew or a, you know, something like that, that you can open some and just pop them in there and then you don't even notice. And there's vegetables in there, so it's good that way. But yeah, we've got a ton of those to go through. So we've got one little lonely jar of shredded chicken there that's pressure canned. Those, we like to use that on like pizzas and stuff. It's really good. I need to get some more of that done, but just I'm just trying to get through all the fruit before I get any more vegetables done or meats or anything. Then we have creamed corn. That's really good. Just the same kind of use for like chucking in stuff making corn fritters or things like that. So that's all cream corn, and I think I did do plain corn, but we must have used all that first. So that's all from last year as well. So chickpeas, that was new to me this year. We haven't tried any of those yet, but I'm sure they'll be just like the ones you get in the supermarket. Then this is all these jars that you can't label. I'm pretty sure this is a peach salsa. So peach salsa there, and I think that's peach salsa there as well. So yeah, peach salsa, that was really good. I didn't make it too spicy. We're not big fans of spiciness, but that'll be really good. So if you have a pressure canner, this is one of the best things that you can pressure can is stock. So these are all beef stock. And then we're still beef stock. Oh, okay, so that whole section there is beef stock. I must have the chicken stock in a different spot. I've got kidney beans and black beans, and then there's the rest of that peach salsa there. So I've got carrots, a few carrots and pumpkins left from last year. Pumpkins go quite mushy, but it's all good for like putting in stuff. Like, I don't know if it would be my favorite to just like open those and heat them up and eat them. So here's the chicken stock. So I've got, these are the 1.5 jars, which are quite good for us, being a family of 7, a little bit of a larger jar. Some more chicken stock there. So I just try and do chicken stock whenever I can. So if we have a roast chicken, I'll just use those bones and whatever kind of veggies that are left over from dinner, or you know, if we've got celery or carrots, I'll just chuck all that in, and I'll just make like a small batch of chicken stock, and then the next day I'll just pressure can that. So that's really good, and it just puts a few jars on our shelves every now and then. So here's a couple new recipes for me this year. So I made a peach barbecue sauce. Most of it I just did in these little jars because I didn't know if we would like it. And we also have some bread and butter pickles. Yeah, I haven't tried these yet, so we'll have to see whether we like those. There's some more chicken stock there. So here I've just got some beef. So that's pressure can beef. That is really, really good. So that's just amazing for like a real quick meal. We've used quite a bit of that. What's that noise? So this next shelf down, this is, so those ones are just bought from the supermarket. These ones are all crushed tomatoes. So this is one of my favorite ways to do tomatoes. It's real quick and easy. So I've still got a ton of tomatoes in the freezer that I need to preserve. So I'd say the rest of the shelf will probably be filled up with a lot more tomatoes. I've just popped those away in the freezer because I've been focusing on getting the fruit done. The tomatoes will be fine in the freezer until I have the chance to preserve those, which is really cool. You can just kind of wait until you have time, or you have the mental capacity to try and do more preserving. So yeah, this is probably only like about a third of the tomatoes that we've grown in the garden this year. So moving along from that, I made some marinara sauce. That is really, really yum, and some salsa. So that is also really good, and we've actually like chucked that in a spaghetti bolognese, and it was awesome. One of our boys is hilarious. So the salsa has got coriander in it, and like he can just taste it, and it's like it's that thing where they say coriander tastes like soap to some people. So it's in there, and he's like, this tastes like soap, and we're like, no it doesn't have any coriander. He's like, yes it does. So we just cannot like hide it from him. So he's got super taste buds, so he can taste that soapy coriander in there. So yeah, we won't try that again. His taste buds are too good to be tricked. So we'll go for the plain one when we're making meals for everybody, and we'll try and have to use the salsa for things that maybe not everyone is eating. And the last thing is just like a tomato sauce. I was really impatient and I don't want to wait for it to thicken up. So you can see that it's got quite a lot of just like liquid at the top. So, you know, I think if that happens and you don't like it, I'm not really too worried. But you could just see how it's like settled. So you could just pour that off the top if you want. But I just find that it like, you know, evaporates. The liquid evaporates when you're cooking so much anyway that it's not going to be a big deal. So that is everything we have on the shelf so far. Like I said, we've still got a ton of tomatoes that we'll preserve kind of when we get a bit more of a lull from the fruit. I need time to recover from the fruit because it's just been so full on. So, you know, like in a few months' time I can get them out of the freezer and get those preserved. So I'm going to do a ton more of the crushed tomatoes. I'm going to do pizza sauce. Yeah, maybe, oh, there's like a roasted garlic tomato sauce that I think I'll do, and I might do a spaghetti sauce with meat as well, so you can just kind of well, I'll use mince for that, so you know, there's your spaghetti bolognese all in a jar. I feel like I've made it sound like we eat spaghetti bolognese a lot. We probably do. So the next things, so on my list I want to make some blackberry jam. We'll see how we go with that. We only managed to get 2 litres when we went out blackberry picking. We have a few different spots, but I think by the time we got out we were probably just a little bit too late, but which is all good. The kids want to make a blackberry pie, and then with whatever we have left I'll decide whether I just freeze them or whether I want to try and make a blackberry jam. I want to do a ton of potatoes. They're just really, really good for convenience. So the potatoes are pressure canned. Yeah, the potatoes were definitely one of our favourite things where you could just drain the jar, kind of like let it sit for a bit to drain as much liquid out, and then we just kind of tossed them in some lard and roasted those, and they were really, really good. Other things that I want to do is so my plan was to do some kumara. I don't know how much kumara we'll get, and I'll probably do a little bit more pumpkin, but not a ton. I want to do some vegetable stock and possibly some bell peppers if I have a ton of those, but I've just been freezing those and that's been working really well for that. And yeah, that's about it for the things I want to preserve. I'll see. My goal was to fill all our empty jars this year, and I think so we have about 850 jars in total, and I think I've probably still got about a quarter of them left to go. But keeping in mind you know, the potatoes will take up quite a lot of jars, the tomatoes will take up quite a lot of jars, yeah, I'd really like to get some more meats on the shelf too, so I was just kind of waiting to get those other things done, and then if I've got spare jars I'll just do some meat in those. And yeah, that's about it. So that is all of our preserved food. Coming up next will be the jars and preserving equipment. So especially if you're from New Zealand and you are keen to know where we source all of our different preserving stuff, stick around for that one. Yeah, so that's us. Thanks heaps for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.